tension issues. Why do we have them? How do I avoid them? And how do I fix them? This video is going to be how to avoid tension issues. It's going to be a super easy follow along, so let's get started and go over all the ways you can fix tension, avoid them, and address them if they happen. Hey guys, it's Bookie from Gigi's Fabric Shop, home to Juki and Janome Junkies, and in today's video we are remastering our how to avoid tension issues. I have done this video in the past, but of course we didn't have this beautiful setup that we have now, so I figured I would address this topic again, and even more so because we have a lot of videos addressing these issues, so now it's a great time to kind of cross-promote, talk about the issues and provide solutions for you guys and other videos that we have that'll help you. So, how do we avoid tension issues? Well, we kind of broke it down into a chart, and I'll keep the chart up for you guys so that way you can follow along, but it starts off with one simple basic question. When is the last time you serviced your machine? I feel like that's always a good place to start. Doesn't matter if you have a computerized machine or a mechanical machine or a Serger. Always think about when's the last time you had the machine serviced. And this is an important thing to look back on because a dirty machine is gonna not be a fun sewing experience. A happy machine is a clean machine. So start by asking yourself that first. That's the first question before we get into this long list of things to look out for is when have you had your machine serviced in the last year? If the answer is no, I would definitely consider taking it to get serviced or kind of cleaning it out yourself and just kind of closely examining the machine because it causes a lot of issues. Believe it or not, something that small could really lead to a domino effect of things. Now, if you have cleaned your machine in the past year, we're gonna follow the other side now, so the yes side. But notice on the no side, even if you haven't had your machine serviced, even after you get it cleaned, you're still going to want to pay attention to the things on the yes side so that way we can go through it, and just the more you know, the better sewer you're going to be. Today I actually had an appointment with a customer and she came with a list of questions on things she needed help with, and it was fantastic because I feel like it was a lot of the topics we were talking about today, and if you don't know how to do certain things on your sewing machine, it can be really hard and it's just going to lead to a not so fun sewing experience. So going through this list is going to be great for you and for me and your sewing machine. So let's go over the yes side. The first thing I want to cover if you're having tension issues is let's talk about the basics. So before we even start touching dials on the machine and cranking things up and looking at things, let's backpedal a little bit because sometimes what happens with tension issues is they appear out of nowhere. Maybe you haven't changed what things you're sewing with or you haven't changed your threads. That's what I hear a lot. There will be a tension issue that arises, but it's one that just kind of happened out of nowhere. And that's a red flag because that usually indicates that there's something off of this list that we can fix to make that issue go away. Now, tension issues can look a little different when you start changing variables. You're working with a very specialty thread, you're working with a specialty needle, you're working with a specialty thread. Those things, you know, can lead to tension issues because they might require some adjusting, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So the first thing I want to cover is basics. You're experiencing tension issues. What do I check first? First thing, aside from cleaning your machine, is going to be the basics. And I know this always sounds silly, but it happens to the best of us. It doesn't matter if you've been sewing a day, 30 years, doesn't matter. Always check back on the basics because it's really easy to miss one little step when we're threading, or maybe we put the bobbin in correctly because we have a bunch of sewing machines at home and this is how I do it on this machine and I forgot it goes differently in this one. So let's backpedal a little bit, take a moment, take a little deep breath. I know it can be really frustrating, but let's go through the basics. Make sure you are threading the machine correctly, that your bobbin is inserted correctly, that everything checks out and that there's no barriers for the thread, that the thread is in all of the little guides, nice and deep. As we always say, when we're threading our machine, you should be kind of acting like you're flossing your teeth, getting into those gears, getting nice and deep into them. So always make sure you're threaded correctly, that the bobbin is put in correctly, that your needle is put in correctly. All those little things make a very big difference. So take a step back and look at those basics, all right? The next thing that's really important, that's so little that makes such a big difference, is your needle. So needle life and needle size and type. I do have several videos on sewing machine needles that you guys can watch, and I'll reference all these things. We'll throw up the thumbnail so you can see what to look out for, but always check the description down below so that way you can see that. And of course, if you need any needles here today, you can always head over to JukiJunkies.com and get the Schmetz needles that we provide, as well as that little booklet that I swear by that is so great. So let's talk about the needle life and the needle size. This is super, super important. When's the last time you changed your needle? Are you using the appropriate needle for your project? All those things can change your tension and the way things look. For example, my customer that came today, she's working with like foam and she was working with woven fabrics and she was using a Microtex needle. So what happened there was that the Microtex is a very sharp needle and it's not ball pointed, so it was just kind of shredding through her fibers where it didn't really need to. Microtex needles are great for synthetic types of materials, cork, vinyl, anything that's not woven, right? It's synthetic, so once the hole is there, it's there. You want it to cut through those fibers. Whereas wovens, canvas, and even foam, those are all woven. They have fibers to them. So having a slight ball point is nice so it can actually weave through and not just shred the fibers. So I did make that suggestion to up to a top stitch needle instead of a Microtex. Definitely keep the Microtex for other types of projects, but for not everything. So definitely watch the video on all the different needle types and styles. So that way you're making sure you're kind of connecting all the dots and working with the right style of needle as well as the right size, and remember to change out your needles. I'm guilty of this. I think we're all guilty of this. It's really easy to have a needle on your machine and forget, especially if maybe you're not sewing every single day, but maybe write it down next to you so that way you can remember the last time you put the needle in, or even write down what type of needle you put in, especially if you're a very versatile sewer. It's a good thing to remember and keep track of. Speaking of writing things down, I will have this little chart up for you guys above, but super nice if you guys want to take notes during this. You are more than welcome to. Taking notes, writing down your resources, checking out those other videos, check the description below. Feel free to stop this video at any time, reverse, go forward, whatever you need to do to get all the information that you need. But taking notes is definitely a good one because there's a lot of important topics to talk about today. So the next really important thing to check out for is checking your bobbin and your needle plate. And we actually have a separate video that talks about skipping and shredding stitches. That's a really, really good video too. Me and David did that together and we talk about a lot of things. We give you lots of examples of needle plates with burrs, bobbin cases with burrs. Those things can all cause tension issues. Unfortunately, it's always the tiniest thing in sewing. I actually love when customers call me to troubleshoot because I'm super determined to figure out what's the problem. And 99.9% of the time, it's always the tiniest little thing. Sometimes to the point where like maybe the customer won't even believe me. They're like, there's no way that's causing my issues, Bookie. And I'm like, it is, I swear, try it. And then it fixes it. So I love fixing the problem. But checking your needle plate is really important. So making sure there's no burrs. Using the appropriate needle plate is also really important. Checking your bobbin case is crucial, especially in computerized machines, because computerized machines have plastic bobbin cases, so it's very easy after a broken needle or maybe not putting the needle in the right spot or maybe after a jam. It's really easy to damage the outer shell of that, and all those little burrs and nicks on those things cause hesitation for the thread. It causes that catch-up, as I like to say. It's just causing it to be hung up on something, causing the tension issue. So it's really important to check those things regularly, and I highly, highly recommend that you check out that video because we talk about a lot of things, including good bobbins. We do have a video about bobbins, talking about what's the difference between L and M and class 15 and plastic and metal. It's so easy, especially if you're a sewer who has lots of sewing machines at home, to maybe get things mixed up. I always recommend grabbing a little Sharpie and maybe marking a J for which one's in your Janome machine. But using the right bobbins is really, really important, and using authentic bobbins. I see this a lot on my Juki TLs. Customers will go online and buy like bulk bobbins of the L size, and unfortunately there's just a small discrepancy in it that causes a big issue. Things rattle around, they're like really shiny, the interior is not the same. I've seen it a lot, and I do address that in that video too. So using the right bobbins is really, really important, and something as easy as putting it in correctly. Some machines want you to put it in a P shape and some want you to put it in a Q shape. So clockwise or counterclockwise. Those little things are really, really important too. Actually, even something as silly as making sure the thread is going into the needle in the right direction. So is it going left to right or right to left or front to back or back to front, whatever the case may be, that little difference makes such a big difference. One time I was on an industrial sewing machine, and instead of threading it from left to right, I was doing it from right to left for whatever bizarre reason, because that's just what made sense to me that day. And the stitches were awful. I swore something was wrong with the machine. I was ready to just give up. And then David came over and was like, hello, you're threaded incorrectly. hence why I said go back to the basics, because it's really easy to make that little mistake that's almost sewing deadly, because you can't sew. You can't sew if the tension's not good. So little things like that. Definitely check out the bobbins video, because we talk about pre-wound bobbins and how you shouldn't mix certain materials with certain things. It's really important to know all those little tips and tricks. There's just so much information in sewing. I know you guys, but I promise we try our best to keep it as simple for you and as common sense for you. But if you have any questions, always feel to reach out or comment down below, and we'll be more than happy to help. The next thing I want to talk about is thread quality and fabric quality. Something like this is really important. So we were talking about it today with the customer, and I was like, you know, it's really important to use high quality threads on your machines. There's some machines that are more picky about different types of threads. There's some brands out there that are just like, you know, the quick grab 99-cent thread, and those are just not super high quality threads. They're not made very strong. They sound almost like sandpaper when they are pulled through the machine. So it's really important to not necessarily always go the cheapest route with things like your needles and your threads and your bobbins, because those things are very important. It's like putting the right gas in your car, putting the right, you know, tires on your car. It's what makes things operate. So it's really important that they're the right things. So, you know, not skipping out on good high quality threads is very important. And sometimes with fabric can be tricky. I noticed today sometimes with like licensed fabrics, they are not always printed on the highest quality fabric. Sometimes they're like, you know, really rough, and they're printed. A lot of the time nowadays fabric is printed on top of fabric, so it's not woven into it. So if you're using a dull needle, or if you're not using the right needle, it kind of separates the colors and it almost looks like the fabric's ripping. So there's a lot of things that go into that. And I also suggest not using thread that's really old. I would say thread definitely has an expiration date, and the way that it's stored is also really important. Thread that's been sitting in the garage for 30 years is probably not the best to use, you know. Definitely has an expiration date, I would say. So definitely keep those things in mind when it comes to experiencing issues like this. Sometimes I like to troubleshoot with people and say, hey, try a different brand of thread and see if the issue goes away. You know, try a different needle. Just start with the basics, because it's, like I said, it's usually one of those things. That directly correlates to your spool caps. And I know David has talked about this on the channel before, but using the right spool caps is really important. I actually think we talk about that in the skipping and shredding stitches video. Really important to make sure on your machines where the spool is laying horizontal instead of vertical, you always want to make sure that the spool cap that's holding it in place is as close as you can get it to the spool size. So not bigger, because the thread has to work around. You want to make it smaller, not even the same size. I always say use the smallest spool cap you have. So that way it glides off a little bit more effortlessly versus, you know, traveling around something, creating an extra step for the thread. Make it smooth for the machine. All right. Next topic is presser foot pressure and micro lifter if you have it. So that really is the same topic. I have a whole video about this, and I know this can probably feel a little confusing, and we're not always playing with that on our machines, but presser foot pressure is really, really important. Understanding when to apply more pressure, or if you have the capability to raise up the presser foot and go into a negative presser foot pressure value, is really important. It can make your tension look so much different. Back to my customer that I had today. She was sewing on foam, and I put 2 layers of like this canvas and 2 layers of foam on the TL, and I just was like, let me just sew it the way you have it set up. Stitch length was at 3, presser foot pressure was all the way up, nothing else was set. And the stitches were very tight and the machine was really struggling. I put the micro lifter up all the way to a negative presser foot pressure value, made the stitches longer, because naturally with thicker materials, you need to make it a little longer. And the stitches looked night and day different, like the way that the machine sewed. So knowing that adjustment, it can save you and make your stitches look so much better. So definitely check out that video, because that's a whole topic in itself, and it's very important regardless if you have a computerized machine or a mechanical machine. You might not even know that your machine has that feature and you've never played with it and you're having issues, but it might just help. So check that out. Cleaning and oiling is very important. That was on the list as well. That kind of started this series. When's the last time you got this machine cleaned? It's always nice to take that needle plate off and just examine what's going on there. Is there thread wrapped around the hook? Is there the little tiny threads maybe in the way of the cutter that are causing issues? Anything that's not supposed to be there is, the only thing that's supposed to be under the plate is your bobbin case and the bobbin. So any little fuzzies that are trying to live there for free are going to cause issues. So you definitely want to get those gone and open it to see what's going on under there. Even like if you've broken a needle too, trying to find all those little pieces, the tip of the needle when it breaks. It happens, but take your time to try to find it and just look under there and see what's going on to make sure everything's nice and clean. And if your machine requires oiling, like the Juki TLs, it's really important to understand how frequently to oil the machine, especially since it has so many different parts. David did just do a video on cleaning and oiling the TL, so you can definitely check that out. We also have the cleaning and oiling topics for the computerized machines, and I believe for the Sergers too. So we kind of hit all the categories for you, so it's a little bit easy to follow. Last thing on this list is actually my favorite one. So the whole point of this video is to try to avoid you going on your machine and touching the dials right away. Because like I said, 99% of the time, you don't have to play with the dials, especially if it's just started happening out of nowhere. But there is instances where you'll have to change your tension, right? So if you've already started playing with your tension and then you started going through this list and things are still not going right, it might have not been that tension in the first place. But understanding tension is very, very important. I've noticed that a lot of sewers don't know that and don't know how to fix tension and what does what. And I get it. It can be confusing, but it's so important. So you've got to take some time. And I feel like David's video on this topic is going to help you be really confident, and it's going to be a little bit clearer for you. So definitely check out David's video on perfect tension so that way you can understand that and just make it better for yourself. But knowing tension doesn't have to be scary. Taking the time to understand it is going to help you avoid having tension issues, but don't automatically start touching all the dials and cranking them left and right. And another thing is tension is usually a small adjustment. It's not like a huge 1 hour turn. Think of adjustments on your machine in increments of 5 minutes on a clock, because you can always go back 5 minutes. And if you need to change it, you can go forwards 5 minutes. It's a small fixable change versus like turning the dial a lot. So that's my word of advice there. So I hope you learned a lot through this checklist. There's a lot of things to look out for, but they're all little things and they're all easily avoidable just by understanding the topics themselves, knowing what to look for, and not feeling flustered. My also best piece of advice is if your machine is driving you a little crazy, take a deep breath and walk away because that's happened to me a ton of times, and I do this for a living, and there's still plenty of times where I'm on the TL and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, you should know this, Bookie, come on. I just have to walk away, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my gosh, you missed one tension disc. You know, it happens to the best of us. So definitely keep this list in the back of your mind. Keep our videos on. I wish there was a way to do like a speed dial where you make like a favorite list and those are the things that you have all the time. Definitely watch all the videos I mentioned today if you're not super strong in any of those topics, and the more information you know, the better sewer you're going to be. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, you guys. If you have any comments or questions or need any advice, that's what the comments are down for below. You can also reach us via email or phone if you have any further questions, maybe about machines, maybe you're in the market for a new machine, or maybe you want to buy some threads and you don't know what to buy. That's what we're here for, and JukiJunkies.com has all of our Juki machines, all of our parts, all of our threads, all of our needles, really anything you could need. So definitely check that out. And if you have any questions, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we're always posting new content for you guys. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.